Okay. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for coming in. Um, so we've asked you to come and answer the question, how do you engineer an environment that fosters the elements of a foundation gear?
Okay. My name is Kelly Carter. I am the lower school and middle school science teacher. I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th, and teach the component of outdoor science for 4th and 5th and 3rd. For safety, I think one is to make the room inviting. And I think my room is very inviting, maybe a little too inviting with the colors and the many distractions. But I think if a child is comfortable and they know that you trust them and they know that they're appreciated and they know that they're valued, then I think that sets up a really good foundation for them to feel safe and for them to be able to share things with you that maybe they would not in a different type of environment.
With safety, moving from that knowledge, how do you feel as a professional you have this gear within your own teaching and with what you present for the children?
Personally, I never teach anything the same way from year to year. I think we all have a little bit of attention deficit, and I would simply get bored if I taught exactly the same thing. So I probably produce more work for myself than I need to, but anytime I approach a unit, I get online and I find out what's new. I open up the science catalogs, find out what new things are out there to engage the student, and I try to stay on top of knowledge and understanding how the concepts maybe have developed or changed from the previous year. I also try to teach from lots of different facets. I try to reach every type of student. So if I'm doing a particular unit, they'll hear a fun YouTube song, they'll see a video, they'll do a hands-on, they have to do a reading portion of it, there's always a homework assignment. So I try to take a subject and completely give them the feeling that they really know the subject. We're not just scooting over something, and we're going very in-depth by giving them different ways of approaching. I think the way that this is done in my classroom through the students might be through some of the assignments that I give them, where they take the knowledge that they may have outside of the classroom and they bring it into the classroom. One of the things we do is current events, and they get to choose their own based on their interest, and they often want to share their current event, whether it's on deforestation or the drought that's going on in California. And then they also like to incorporate, well, my family's, I have extended family in California. We just talked, this is something that's ongoing, and these are the things that they have to do. So I think discussion allows the student to be able to share the knowledge that they have outside of what we do in the classroom. And I think I allow them a lot of opportunity to be able to be off the topic and be comfortable with off the topic and know that we'll get back to what we're supposed to do eventually. And I want them to know that I value their knowledge, and I want them to understand that we don't know it all. So if I get a question, I am very comfortable with saying, I don't know that answer, let's figure it out. And trying to show them that even though the adults in their lives typically know a little bit more, that we are also willing to learn, so that we're modeling that for them as well.
I feel like hearing that you touched a lot on guidance, which is the next part in that center foundation gear. Do you want to expand on guidance a little further, or?
Sure. I guess when I think of the word guidance, it's more of guiding the student to a particular area that you're trying to foster. And sometimes the students will take your guidance and go in a completely different avenue, which is exciting and new because it gives you a different way of looking at things. I like to give them a guidance up to a point, and then I want them doing it. So where I may introduce a topic, if they have a question, I always typically say, that's a really great question, figure it out. because I want them to do it instead of being spoon-fed knowledge, because when they work for it, they appreciate it more, and it sticks with them more.
Okay. How about collaboration? How do you?
I guess I see collaboration two ways. I see it a teacher collaboration, teacher-student collaboration, and then student-to-student collaboration. With the student-to-student, I think I do that very well, with, especially in science. Depending on the grade level, they have to work with absolutely everyone in the classroom, whether it's just for the week or whether it's for a project. I think it's really important for them to understand that they're not going to like the people in their lives from now until the time that they're an adult, and to be able to problem solve and get through the day, putting aside whatever disagreements is a life skill that they need to learn. Teacher collaboration. I love working with the classroom teachers, and I love developing curriculum that takes what is happening in the classroom and extending it. It gives the children a better understanding and more, I think it puts more value on whatever it is if they can see it from different facets and see how it integrates into different areas. And then student-teacher collaboration, I think is an ongoing process, typically in every classroom, whether you really sit back and say, oh, I'm collaborating with the student. But I think when you give the students a voice or a choice, it turns into collaboration, and I like to do that as well through homework. Homework is an extension of what happens in the classroom. It gives them practice, but what I like to do is do a your choice homework, and they draw up the ideas. So I say, okay, this is the assignment that I want us to have. However, I want you to generate the ideas. And so they come up with all kinds of ways that they would like to explore homework. And then again, that gives them ownership and allows them to feel that their voice is valuable.
Okay. That kind of leads us right into trust, which you mentioned at the very beginning, but you want to tell more about it?
Sure. And I think all of these really, once you have 2 or 3 or 4, they just go together. They link, and I think trust is developed through students seeing you fail, seeing you pick yourself back up, seeing you value what they say, that you take the time to sit and talk with them, that you sit, you find time to make them feel like they are individuals, and that whether they do or do not get a concept, that you're willing to work with them on their level. And I think some of the programs that we have here at school, especially the human growth and development, where we get to break up the groups gender-wise, really builds that trust to where I know the 4th and 5th grade girls know, I mean, we talk about that Vegas commercial. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So in human growth and development, what happens in this room stays in this room. And they understand that they can voice their opinions, that they can talk, and that we are all going to trust that we're going to keep to that code. So I think it's modeling, and it's showing that you care and that you understand and that you value them. And I think that's the foundation to where everything else revolves around and happens.
I agree. Okay, so opportunity, and I feel, again, you've kind of touched on that, but do you want to elaborate a little bit more about opportunity in your classroom?
Sure. I guess the way that I see that in the center gear is an opportunity for the student to find themselves and to be themselves. And I think, here you become. I think especially in lower school, we really try to get them to understand, or to begin to understand who they are, and to be okay with their individuality, and that we foster a classroom where if someone is different, that's okay, and they take care of each other, and just giving them the opportunity to practice, especially the core values, and to keep bringing those up and keep giving them opportunities to make mistakes, but to know that those mistakes are okay, and that we don't always have to have the right answer, and this is what we can do when we make a mistake in our work or whether we make a mistake in a choice that we make, is to help them basically with life skills. I mean, I think we should take the teacher name off. We are life skill coaches, and we are teaching them, and as they go through middle and upper school, I think it becomes very apparent that in lower school is where that foundation occurs and it builds.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add or say?
I think so.
Okay, that's a tough one at the end. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.